I think it's time. I think it's time for us to all feel inadequate for just a moment as we have a look at the Golden Demon 2026 winners revealed at Adepticon, which was this last weekend. So these are the absolute best miniature painters in the world. So if you're maybe thinking, maybe you're on the fence of like painting some of your own minis for the very first time, you know, like with the StarCraft tabletop thingamajig coming into existence this year, maybe you're thinking about doing a little bit of mini painting yourself. This is what top level painting looks like. New Hollis. So there's a bunch of different categories for the different minis. There's like the Warhammer 40k one, then there's the Age of Sigmar, and then you have like different categories within the different games. So obviously Warhammer 40k single miniature is a very popular category. There will be a lot of like custom sculpting with minis like this. I'm no expert when it comes to the lore. Kind of love the resin base. That's kind of awesome. Is that a resin base? What is it even standing on? How do you even make this? I think this is something that looks really, really sick in person. Because there is a little bit of a regular base over here, it looks like, that like maybe persists all the way through the back. Yeah, this is the type of stuff that will probably look a lot more spectacular in person. So this, I think, is from the new Space Wolf set. A lot of it definitely is. It is clean. It is very clean. We have Bob Cahoon, single miniature silver. Little dead Necron at the bottom of the base. Yeah, very cool. My favorite category is always the ones with like either like a duel going on or like a diorama or something like it. The single miniatures are really nice, but I always enjoy the ones that take it like one step further. Like this over here is already kind of sick to me because it's like kind of defying gravity, I guess. Because it seems like the only point, I think at least the only point where this connects to the base is the foot. This is like a guy that's just about to speed off. Yeah, it's very beautiful. Yeah, so to clarify, this is not actual gold paint. These are different shades of yellow, black, white, and all the rest of it. Which is really difficult to do. It's the same for like the texture created on the wings and like the hull of this stuff. Same for like the texture on the trousers. Yeah, you see how the blade over here is really smooth? But then the lance itself is really, really... Dude, I like this one way better than the other two. Maybe I didn't stare at the other two for long enough. This is very clean. I really like the different textures, actually, all around. That's so cool. So to clarify, by the way, these will be minis that are about this tall. Like, they're about... Well, you know what? I think that's like, what, 20 centimeters? Most guys will view this as about 20 centimeters, at least. It's not quite that large. Alright, Warhammer 40,000, unit or kill team. TD McDonald's. Or McDonald. Pretty cool, pretty cool. I love the banner. The banner is really nice. Like, dude, this is the type of stuff that I'm talking about. This is the type of stuff that I really, really like. I don't know why I like this so much better. But this is just, you know, it's got so much movement, and there's a lot of stuff to actually consider here. A lot of these things will look different in person than they look in the pictures, though, I will say. Like, I've seen a bunch of these high-level things in person, and they do tend to look a little bit different. Obviously, these photos won't be retouched. Maybe they have, like, brightened up the background a little bit, but there won't be any retouching. This is very cool. I really like this. And it's the same for this, man. Like, you can almost see the Marines here, right? Look at that banner. Woo! But you can also almost see the StarCraft Marines with this one. Obviously, these are Ultramarines. Yeah, I really like this. The new helmets are kind of crazy, by the way. I've never seen these before. The ones with, like, the wings. Really beautiful blue. Yeah. That blue is awesome. Yeah, I'm with you. I do think the number 1 and 2, like the silver and bronze, do look a little bit nicer than the gold. But again, this is small. Right? Like, if you look at the image, these are a lot more zoomed out. Because there's, you know, the image is just as big, I guess. This one will be... These are small minis. Like, as far as miniatures go, these are small. Everything here is small, but... Alright, Warhammer 40,000, large miniature or vehicle. Yeah. Yeah. We have an orc. On a good old... what are these guys called again? I don't remember. Very cool. We have a bit of an ultramarine as well on the base. I really like the dynamic poses, I guess. You know, when you can see that something has happened and... Yeah, super cool. Very nice. The silver? Very battle-worn. I feel like normally they never really rated the super damage minis this high. Pretty cool. A little bit of a Goliath, I suppose. You could paint your Goliaths like this. I mean, maybe not quite like this, because this will be someone who's very good at painting, but you get what I'm trying to say. You could definitely do a lot of, like, battle damage like this, which is cool. Plus, battle damage is also kind of sweet to cover up any mistakes. Like, adding rust effects and, like, little... Yeah. Helps a lot. Oof. This is the new... Oh, what's it called again? The new Necron mini. I forgot the name. Very cool. Very cool. The color transitions. The Nightbringer, that's right. The color transitions here I really like. The purple going into the red-orange. And then, obviously, the metallic body over here. Really clean. A little bit of a reflection on the foot as well from some reddish stuff. Very pretty. I think this one will look even better in person again. This is a pretty... Like, these are pretty big. These are like... I don't know, maybe that large. They're pretty significant. Alright. Warhammer Age of Sigmar. Single miniature. Thibaut. That's a name that rings a bell, but I don't really remember. It seems like the Age of Sigmar category, by the way, usually has the better entries in the last few times that I've seen it. The Warhammer 40k ones are always good, but I feel like a lot of the painter guys... Maybe I'm wrong. But I feel like a lot of the dudes that do a lot of variety painting tend to lean towards the Age of Sigmar ones lately. Super cool. Very pretty. You almost miss a little bit of a water effect here. Yeah, I like the Age of Sigmar models a little bit better too, usually. Raphael Bouillon. Oh, he's built a little forest. I feel like with the Ashenville music in the background, this is very appropriate. There's a rabbit and a skunk and a squirrel. Look at all of it. That's cute. Yeah, I love this. I don't really recognize it as a Warhammer mini, though. But maybe that's because I'm not really too familiar with Age of Sigmar lore. But, yeah, very cute. Here's Katarzyna again. Same as the previous ones. Oh, she did the, dang, she's got a style. Katarzyna? I love the transitions. Very pretty color, man. Yeah. Katarzyna Gorska. She probably has an Instagram. Oof. Dang. I've painted this one, but it looks very different than what I did. Here's mine. It's a little... Mine is you know, I don't think mine is bad. I tried my best. But it looks a little different. Very cool. Is this supposed to play? Oh, it's just pictures. Okay, it's a slideshow. Thought I was gonna... Oh, wow. Ha! Huh. Look at that. I always love the progress photos as well. That's so cool. Kind of wish this was a video, though. But I guess this is progress over time. Yeah, so this is all brush strokes. I'm a sucker for the painterly style, I will say. Like, it's nice to fill in the colors and whatnot. To paint by numbers, but I really do like the very bright stuff. Man, she hasn't even posted anything yet of this one. Kind of awesome. Oh, she did that one last time around. That was one of everybody's favorites too. I think that was also a Golden Demon winner. All right, very nice. Very nice. Warhammer Age of Sigmar unit or warband. Again, look. Very battle-worn. I feel like shoulder pads like this were never very popular over the last few years. This is a very muted color scheme, which again looks really nice. I guess people kind of felt like they needed to do very bright colors in order to stand out. But, nah, this is really beautiful. Is this metallic paint? It has to be metallic paint, no? Maybe not, though. Maybe the base coat is metallic and then they, like, layered a lot of stuff on top of it? I'm not sure. How would you even go about making a shoulder pad like that? Yeah, summertime in the great country of Europe did start, Vesper. Where did I do? So these are very bright again. I do love these little guys. These are sweet. These are cute. Not as well integrated as some of the other ones, I guess, but these are also cute. Look at that. How cute. Cute is the right way to describe these, right? Alright. Warhammer Age of Sigmar. Large miniature. Oh. Or War Machine. Lucas Holmstrom. I think this is the Lucas from Squidmar. Yeah. Now look, this is like suddenly an entirely different level. Maybe it's just because the minis are larger. And then in like the previous pictures, you just are more zoomed in and it's just a little bit more easy to dissect all of the little things. But look at these wings, man. Look at the skin on this dude. Ah, beautiful. Really, really, really beautiful. Yeah, very lifelike. Although, if you were to come across something like this in real life, you'd be terrified. Also, it would definitely not have a loincloth. In real life, this thing would come, you know, balls blazing. Yeah, 100%. A little bit of decency in the Warhammer universe, I guess. Ah, look at this. Another beauty. Another beauty. What even is this base? So it's attached over here somehow, but how in the world did they make this? Wow. I don't even know where you would start. Like, what even is the build order? Yeah, then I guess you gotta think about the thick boy riding a snail while having some sort of leech coming out of the right side of its body and then sucking into its own. Like, this guy is a little disgusting. A little bit. Absolutely filthy, but very pretty. Look at the skin on the slug, though. Ugh. It's perfect, man. Going from green to yellow to orange to red, and all of the different shades intertwined. A little bit of bruising on all of the different scars and whatnot, and then, ugh. Crazy stuff, man. Yeah, beautiful. A little bit of lighting as well coming, I guess, from the staff. That's then going onto, like, it's spilling onto the hood and the arm and all the rest of it. Same for the back of the head over here and the little leech. Ay, ay, ay. It's a lot to dissect with this one. Very beautiful. Dang. Yeah, people consider it a win, by the way, even if you get bronze. Because, you know, ultimately it's judges, right? That, like, decide who wins what and who gets gold and who doesn't. Like, why did this one get silver compared to this one getting gold? I don't know. There's no way to know. And then we have Carlos Garcia. Another familiar name, at least. Bribes? Ah, you bribed the judges, Ramble? Smart. This is how you keep winning, huh? There's got to be some really wealthy miniature painters out there. Like, most of these guys will be artists, right? So this is what they do for a living, and they'll happily do it while maybe just scraping by. But there will be some that have, you know, they have a bit of cash. Just bribe the judges. Smart. Yeah, this is also, again, super cool. The wings are sick. The guy, like, look at this model. Seriously, it's so beautiful. And again, muted. Like, the color scheme is very muted compared to some of the previous entries in previous years, at least. I like it. It looks nice. We don't really see the feathers very well, though. I bet you the feathers on this one look incredible, too, on the back. Sadly, only one picture. Warhammer, the Horus Heresy. Mohammed Ait Mehdi. This is a gigantic mini. Gigantic in the sense that the wings take up like 50% of it. Maybe more. Actually, I think it's more like 60%. Fulgrim Transfigured is really neat. But the wings do definitely stick out. Hard to see exactly all of the little detail, I guess, but you can tell that this is kind of crazy. All right, look at this. Just look at it. All the little golden details, the demon face over here, the teeth, the snail body, and all the rest of it. Yeah, that's crazy. Crazy stuff. Also one of the coolest characters in the lore, by the way. I love Fulgrim. Well, love may be a bit of a strong word, but... So wait, this is the Horus Heresy. Okay, so this is just straight Horus Heresy category. Which is why we have an absolutely tiny miniature right next to one of the big boys. Adam Hitchens. Pretty. El Kai. Which Primarch is this? Looks like a Primarch. I don't know. Very cool, though. I wonder if this is like custom made or whatever, if people like actually... A lot of it will be manually sculpted, I guess. Is this Magnus? Okay, could be, I don't know. Warhammer the Old World. This is the old school stuff. Although the miniatures will be new school. Ah, look at this stuff. Ay, 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 ay. That orange is so bright. The yellow? My god. How do you even get yellow to paint it? Like to this... Crazy bright. Same for the striped pattern, man. Like a striped pattern like that on a lance is insane. Yeah, the water is also really cool. You can use like different types of resin to basically manually sculpt a lot of this sort of thing. But yeah, again, very difficult. The wings are really sweet. Looks like he's also chosen like a wooden base. Like the plinth for this thing looks like it's wood. Like almost like cork, I guess, which is kind of sick. Magnus Nielsen? What a dwarf, bro. Okay. Very pretty. Love the little red guy. Oliver Pratt over here. Another old world. I don't know anything about the old world. I have no clue. I guess this is like an apothecary type of character. Very nice. Middle Earth. I don't think this is a very popular category most of the time. I think at least this one has less entries than some of the previous categories we've looked at. Very cool though. Blood Bowl. Again, Magnus Nielsen. I feel like I've seen that name pop up a bunch of times. Yeah, the Middle Earth ones are very small. The Warhammer minis all have gotten bigger over the years. These are all still very tiny. Magnus Nielsen. Let's open up a bunch of them. So Blood Bowl is like a separate tabletop game for like, I think, American football. Although obviously these miniatures aren't really meant for playing. Damn. He's got a very pink nose. Kind of awesome. Yeah, look at these guys. The Nurgle boys. Ready for... The grass is really cool too, actually, man. The grass will be plastic, but it looks like real grass, like real moss. Here's the Sassy Nurgle! Wait, the Sassy Nurgling! I love the Sassy Nurgling, dude. He's my favorite. Although this guy has a little... He's got a little thingy above his... Oh. Maybe they have a different version in Blood Bowl, I don't know. Or maybe he sculpted it manually. Probably that. It's like a family picture. This is to go on the wall at the grandparents' place, you know? Very sweet. And then we have another group of dudes. I don't even know what I'm looking at anymore. They're well armored. Yeah, very cool. Necromunda. Again, another game that I don't understand. Very strong rogue trader vibes here, right? Super nice. Yeah, very cool. Very sweet. All right, and then epic skill. Epic skill is a skill that is epic. As in, like, the skill is supposed to look kind of incredible, but the actual size of the miniatures is tiny. These guys, this like a Reaper looking fella over here, will be like that big. These are, I don't really know, like it says epic skill, as in like the scale was ridiculous. These guys will genuinely be a few millimeters. No, I don't really know. Maybe a centimeter, but still. Very cool. You need a magnifier to paint these? People do have magnifier glasses, yeah. Look at the little guys over here. So it's a lot of ships and whatnot to like look at the scale of like these, you know, battleships, which is cool. This is like a hangar bay, I guess. Very nice. Yeah, this one's cool, I guess. Not my favorite, though. I think this is another one of those things where, like, there's just not that many entries in this category. It's epic skill due to a game called Epic. It was 6mm scale. Okay, so these little guys will be about 6mm to, like, their heads. That's crazy. 6. Six millimeter is very small. That's like, for Americans, that's like a 1/5 of an inch. Maybe a 1/4 inch. But it's very small. Now look, now we're getting into the big boy category. Diorama. I saw this thing on Instagram a few days ago. David Arroba. This is just insane, dude. He posted some close-ups as well of the Mini. These pictures for some reason are kind of low quality. But anyways, I think it's the Instagram web version. Look how, look at that little guy. This is just like a tiny little dude. Under better lighting, this is what he looks like. Over here, it doesn't even feel like he's actually there. There's a guy as well at the back of the gate. A little skelly off to the side. And then the back of the dragon. Woo! Very, very cool. Yeah, this is like, there's levels to this stuff, you know? Like, even people that win, I think they look at this, like, even if the guys that won a golden demon, right? Like, they won the whole gold in their category. They look at this sort of thing and think to themselves that it's pretty much impossible. This is nuts. It also, I guess, kind of depends on who enters when. Because there's, like, usually 2 golden demons a year. And this happens to be the US one, so at Adepticon. I think later this year at Spiel in Essen, there's going to be another one too. And, I don't know, it just depends on, like, who enters when, where, and how, right? We look at most of those things and think, fuck, I couldn't do this? Yeah. It's a different style, right? Like, this is very different than how you paint. But it's still, that's the beauty of it, right? Like, that's just the art of the whole mini painting. Like, it's so cool. How many hours are put into something like this? I think Hendarian can give you a better answer. He's won a bunch of golden demons. The dragon has 800 hours? Just the dragon alone? Or the whole mini? David posted it? 800. 800. The whole thing? Okay, fair. But still, 800 hours. It's just, And then you have to, like, pack this thing up and actually take it onto a plane. You actually have to, like, leave the house with it. Before you know it, the freaking lance is gonna be broken off, you know? Like, you gotta be... I feel like traveling with this sort of stuff has gotta be terrifying. Andy Wardle, that's another big name. $800 is what you put into, like, 6 entries last year in total? Yeah. Yeah, but it's also, like, you gotta actually keep enjoying the process, right? Like, say on average, you're spending 150 hours or something on a mini. Like, that's still a really long time to be focusing in on one tiny little object. If you're spending months and months and months on end, just maybe even a full year onto one mini, like, you also just get kind of bored. Personally, after 100 hours into the same thing, the fun is over. Yeah. No, I get that. I get that. Or you have to, like, if, you know, something like this, you can split up very easily, right? Like, this officer guy will be painted separately, then he is, or she is painted, he is painted separate. Like, they're all on different, like, and then you can, like, kind of split it up into different little projects. So you can do 50 hours here, 40 hours there, 40 hours there, or whatever, and then, like, stick it all together, and it's still kind of fun. But, yeah. Super cool. Look, this is another one, man. Oh, my lord. Bora Calvo Bertrand de Lis. I probably mispronounced that heavily. This is the Space Wolf guy going up against the Magnus the Red. Like, look at this stuff. A lot of it will be custom sculpted. Look at the gear. Look at the armor. Look at the everything. It's perfect, man. It's Borja? Borja. All right. Yeah, it's insane. Insane. Borja Calvo. He's the one that, we looked at Warhammer minis last year, end of last year. This guy also did very well there. This is the gold at Spiel. So I guess between October and now, he painted this. Oh, he won the... Wait, did he win the whole thing? We did a couple of other small ones apparently too, huh? Yeah. I'm so glad though that like this is an actual art form and it is a thing that people can actually like make a living out of if they, you know, are trying to at least monetize it. Like a lot of people won't necessarily try to monetize it super hard, but it is still cool that like, you know, something like this will always be nice. If you show it to someone in 500 years, they will still think it looks cool. They will still recognize skill. This is the type of thing you can put in a museum easy. Easy. Yeah. I can imagine, Andarian. But maybe it's also better in a weird way to like have it more as like a hobby or like a project that you're doing outside of work too. Like there's advantages to that as well, right? Because now when you sit down and you have 3 hours to paint, you better paint. you better get the job done. Oh god, we shaved the horns. Oh shit. The horns are smooth. Super cool mini, man. I've got a feeling... Look at them crushing the griffin, I guess is what it is. Yeah, the horns usually have little... I have them right here. The horns look different. They usually have grooves in it. It's normal to have a wrinkly horn echo, don't shame. Yeah, super cool. The Youngbloods. These are, I think there's like an age limit or something. I think you have to be like 16 or at most or something, or 14, something like that. Yeah, this is the category Bella is going to be entering in like a decade. I can hear her crying right now downstairs. She doesn't know it yet. But if she wants to, I will travel really anywhere for her to enter a miniature into a painting competition. It's okay. If she wants to, that would be really cool. Oh, dude, I would be so proud if she won a trophy. Are you kidding me? That would be so sick. No, no. Maybe she has zero interest in this sort of thing. But that would be kind of amazing. Ooh, look at that. What even, is this even Warhammer, dude? The scale doesn't look like Warhammer at all. Alfonso Giraldes Bourbon. He sculpted it? Damn. There is, like, sometimes you do hear about people getting disqualified for stuff. Like, this probably is, like, you know, it looks incredible, don't get me wrong. But, like, I feel like a lot of people would look at this and don't necessarily think about this being Warhammer, but more like, I don't know, like a Napoleon-era commander on the field. He's also known as Alfonso Benchi. Okay. What I find quite sad, says Joja, is about Golden Demon, and I know that's a me problem. I don't really like the art style some of the minis have. Like, they're painted well, but you still don't like them. That's not a problem. No, that's just a preference, right? Like, this is also not my personal favorite. But I can appreciate it, I guess. But that's just like, you can go to any museum with art on the wall too, right? Where some of them will look, maybe skill-wise, very impressive, but realistically speaking, you may not love it yourself, and that's fine. Lucas Holstrom again. That's the Squidmark guy. Yeah, he, so wait a second. Did he just get golden, or he got gold with, like... Where is it? Oh god, I gotta keep scrolling. Oh, jeez. Oh, it's even for... Oh, yeah. Okay, so he beat this one over here. Which I think looks better than his own... Anyways, let's not talk about that, because he beat him... Dude, it very much so depends on the category that you enter to. Oh well, we'll allow it. Cool mini. And then, I guess one with, like, a backdrop. Okay, pretty cool. Interesting one. Yeah, I feel like the backdrop, it's not the strongest part. I feel like everything should have been more, maybe dusty or something. Like, this is all a little bit too clear. I find these little ships in the sky a little bit comedic almost. Like this, like if you cut off the top half of it, I think it looks better. Like just like this, it looks really sick to me. With this, it looks kind of like a little bit of a doodle as well, which I'm sure it's not supposed to be, and maybe that's a dick thing of me to say, but just the vibe I'm getting. Yeah, they look a little high school sci-fi. Fair. It is exactly. I'm not sure. I'm not trying to disrespect any guys for, like, you know, saying some things that may be interpreted in a mean way. Like, that's not what I'm trying to do. I also can't really look at the depth here, I guess. Like, these guys are real? Yeah, hard to say. Loco confirmed toxic. Sometimes, I will say, sometimes I will come across as toxic, but I'm actually just Dutch. Anyways. Right, this thing is insane. Like, this thing, so this one overall. No, it did not? Wait a second. No, it did? Wait, what happened? Did it win overall? Oh, yeah, it did. Okay, the Slayer Sword, which is, like, overall best in show. Yeah, that one's incredible. Do you actually get to take the sword home? I think so, right? The only problem is that, like, bringing a weapon onto a plane, even checked in, is kind of sketchy. Like, this particular competition is in the US. But I'm not so sure what happens if I try to, like, check in what looks like an actual sharp sword. Over... I don't know what would happen if I tried to do that in the Netherlands, you know? Like, if they open up my suitcase... and they see, like... you gotta definitely show them the sword. Like, you can't just go through the security and hope you don't get checked, you know? That's it. No. Or maybe they ship it to you. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. They have to ship it. You have to ship this sort of thing and then let the people that ship it to you be responsible for it arriving. Mr. Officer, sir? I won this sword at a miniature painting competition. Get on the floor. Put your hands behind your back. Right away. Right? Yeah, I don't know what the order is. Oh, they have more close-up photos. What the hell? Wait, so they took more close-up pictures? Yeah, we need like a little slideshow for every single one of these entries, man. Because some of them just really don't do it justice. Like, I understand that every angle, like every mini has like one forward angle that is considered to be like the money shot, I guess. But many minis will have a really interesting... Although these photos are good though, like I will say, like the photos do look nice. I remember seeing old entries and that just didn't really look very impressive. The one that I feel like really needs like an extra photo in particular is the bird dude, like this guy over here. I bet you the wings on this dude look incredible on the back. Carlos Garcia. Oh god, there's a football player called Carlos Garcia. Oh god, that is a common enough username that I can't just find it on Instagram. Carlos Garcia, Instagram. Warhammer? Charlie Miniatures? Ha! Found him. Charlie Miniatures. Also, hey, another thing I would like to see. Put the freaking Instagram handle of these folks onto the entry over here, man. Like, there's nothing to lose from this. Just... It's hard enough to make money in this whole thing as it is, man. Like, make it easy to find people. Alright. Yeah, see, dude, I'm telling you. Games Workshop doesn't credit or link as a rule due to community harassment? Ah, dude, they need to, like... No, that's stupid. If that really is an issue, you could ask the people, I guess? But they only benefit from, like, you know, people growing as a painter and, like, getting more online followers just because that would also then... invite more people into the thing, right? Like, it just seems like a bit of a no-brainer to me from every direction. Like, if you don't want to be publicized, maybe don't enter competition. Like, it's just kind of how it is. Like, if you want to compete, you're kind of inviting people to come and judge your work, right? Like, isn't that kind of the whole premise of it? I don't know. Maybe I think of this wrong. Yeah, super cool. So the overall winner is a bit of a no-brainer, right? David Arbora. Although I will say, this one is also really cool, though. Like, this is... You know what? Like, these are very clearly the two best ones. I feel like it's pretty obvious that these two are the best in class. And that, I guess, is kind of the downside of painting competition, or like any competition that is like subjective, I guess, in general. I don't know what the solution would be. Like, do you want to do multiple golds multiple silvers, multiple... Like, how do you... Like, what is the best way to do something like this? Because having 1 gold, 1 silver, 1 bronze makes sense, I guess, in a traditional way of grading things. But I wonder if maybe you should have, like, more clear guidelines for that sort of stuff. It's always going to be subjective. I don't know. Because I don't think, like, no disrespect to some of these, for example, but I don't think necessarily one of these would be gold in the other categories, if that makes sense. Maybe it's good then to have categories. Like this one, these are very easy examples, I guess. And again, not me trying to be a jerk, but just on like the nature of competition in general. These are the same mini. Right? Like these are the same ones. But I think this one is far more impressive than this one. Like, not that this one isn't impressive. My god, I'm altering my speech. You get what I'm trying to say, right? I'm trying to do the internet thing where I appease everybody with what I'm trying to say. But, like, I think the one on the left is way better. And they're both silver. Anyways, I kind of feel like though, if you enter a competition like this, you gotta kind of just be happy with whatever you're given. Like if you go into a competition, like honestly any competition, but especially something subjective, going into it, believing that you may be able to win, you're kind of inviting depression, you know? You gotta be very careful. Because you may think you have crafted something really, really good, but it all comes down to the category that you enter and who happens to also show up at the show. Like, maybe there's a guy that, like, normally always does really well, but he decided to, like, skip this one, or maybe, like, spend a full year on one project and enter the next one instead of the one that you're at. Like, there's a lot of... I don't think... expecting to win seems crazy. Never expect to win, even if most people think you're the best, or your thing is the best, you may totally not get that reward. Yeah. I guess that's another thing, too. If you're at the show and people are, like, talking to you, they may also kind of hype up your work before you actually hear the end result. And then to, like, you know, build that up in your head, and then to find out you didn't get anything is a loser mentality. I normally would never enter anything. Like, I don't want to play a competition in StarCraft without at least being able to do well. You know? I prefer entering something if I believe that I can actually win it. But I feel like with something like this, you gotta be very careful with that mindset. Other people hyping you up is the worst? Yeah, I can imagine. This one's super cool too, man. I really like this. I'm glad this was recognized. Because this is one of those things that I feel like a lot of people wouldn't necessarily... It's not as smooth, I guess, not as clean as some of the other entries, but it's really cool. This one's sick. I really like this one. And this one is another standout for me. Yeah, it's a disgusting mini. I can't imagine spending 500 hours staring at this. It's so gross. I guess when you sit down at the desk, right, and you disgust yourself every time, that's when you know you're on the right track with something like this. It's so nasty. Also, imagine shipping this. Like, how do you even... This is like on a tiny little... It's on like, you know, this is like a finger wide, right? Like it's a tiny little plastic... I'd be terrified of it snapping in half. There's got to be some horror stories out there of people... Like, same for these wings, man. These wings are pretty well attached, I suppose. Maybe you keep the wings separate and you glue them on... there, but then you have to go back home. Like, these are... Lucas Holstrom, he's a guy from Sigmar, right? He comes from Sweden. So you have to go and travel halfway across the world with a bunch of miniatures. You could use bubble wrap. I don't know, man. You definitely keep this in your hand luggage, right? Like, you definitely don't check this in. You'd be crazy to put this in your actual check-in luggage. In before though, the airport is like, you know, oh, we have actually no room in the plane. You must check in your bag in the you have to. Then you gotta sweet talk the staff on the plane. So this one's cool too. I really like her work. The very bright colors are incredible.